When Saturday Night's Main Event officially returned to WWE TV, a lot of people were wondering what type of show it was going to be, because it's not necessarily a premium live event, and I think a lot of people were expecting it to kind of feel more like a PLE does. And what we got from the first episode of Saturday Night's Main Event was pretty much nothing. It was a good wrestling show, but there were no big changes, no title changes, nothing like that, which left a lot of wrestling fans feeling like the show kind of felt like a glorified house show. And while I personally think that it was much better than a glorified house show, I still do think that there should be some major changes that happen on Saturday Night's Main Event. Fast forward to the most recent episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, and still nothing really changed. Every title that was up for grabs was retained by the current champion. And while again, I think the show was a pretty good wrestling show, all the matches I think delivered in a way, and I think that it just stands to be said that not every show needs a massive title change, but sometimes they are needed. And you could have made a case for a couple of the matches that featured a title. So this is my official recap video for Saturday Night's Main Event. I'm going to go through the matches, give my opinions on them, and maybe try to guess where the story goes from here. Starting off with the Women's World Championship match between the champion Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley ultimately coming out on top and retaining the Women's World Championship. And the match itself I thought was pretty good. I didn't have any real big issues with it. My only one big gripe with the match was the fact that Nia Jax hit the Annihilator on Rhea Ripley, and Rhea didn't necessarily get right back up, but she could have sold it a little bit better. I feel like they kind of damaged the Annihilator after building it up to be this devastating finish. And I talked about it in the preview video for Saturday Night's Main Event, but Nia Jax already being declared for the Royal Rumble this year, I think kind of spoiled who was going to win this match. Because again, it doesn't make much sense to have Nia Jax win the title and then enter the Royal Rumble, because that ultimately defeats the purpose of the Royal Rumble. I also talked about how Nia Jax is so important to the Royal Rumbles that there was no chance that WWE wasn't going to have her in the Rumble this year. So I do ultimately think that the ending of this match was kind of spoiled, because again, we already knew that Nia Jax was going to be in the Royal Rumble, and we knew that Rhea Ripley, after just getting the title back, wasn't going to lose it after such a short title reign. Because Rhea Ripley right now is at the top of her game, and it really would not make much sense to have her lose the title that she just won about a month ago. So again, I think the match was good. In my opinion, it was one of Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax's best matches together, and while the winner may have been spoiled in a way, I still do think that the match was good enough that it didn't really shine a whole lot of light on that. Up next, we had Bron Breakker taking on Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, with Bron Breakker winning and retaining that title. And I thought this match was great. I absolutely loved this match. It was just a fun match to watch because it was so well paced and high energy, which is something that we've grown accustomed to with Bron Breakker matches. And Sheamus, my god, Sheamus still absolutely has it. There was never really a question of if he was starting to lose his game a little bit, but my god, what a match from Sheamus. And the mid-air spear from Bron Breakker, that is something that you will see time and time again when you're talking about Bron Breakker. To me, that was a statement moment for Bron Breakker in showing just how damn good and how much of a badass he really is. Another thing that I loved is that they really made it feel like Sheamus was going to win, and they pulled on the heartstrings of everybody wanting to see Sheamus win, and ultimately it didn't happen. In my preview video, I was split 50-50. On one hand, I could see Bron Breakker winning. On the other hand, I could totally see Sheamus winning. And I did ultimately end up going with Braun, and I would not be surprised at all if we end up getting another match between these two, because this match just worked so damn well, and it really clicked on all cylinders, and it felt like this match deserved to be on a PLE. So obviously, Bron Breakker gets the win, and again, I think that mid-air spear, I think that was his statement moment, showing just how good he is. Up next, we're going to talk about the contract signing between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes with Shawn Michaels. And I was going to do a video about this topic, but Kevin Owens is right. KO is absolutely right in this scenario. Everything that he has talked about up to this point, and even the promo that we got between him and Sami Zayn, where he was still cheering for Sami Zayn, I think just added so much to Kevin Owens' character. And while he may not be the mega heel like a Dominic Mysterio or the New Day getting booed out of the building, I thought that a good way to get him to that level would be to pile drive Shawn Michaels. And while we almost did get that, he was ultimately saved from a super kick from Cody Rhodes, which I didn't think that was going to happen. But the mic skills from Kevin Owens really, really shined in this segment. I think because Kevin Owens is so damn good in the ring, I think a lot of times we kind of forget just how good he is on the mic. Because it's not just the words that he's saying, it's the passion that he brings with it. And you can hear that in every single one of his promos, and especially when he gets fired up like he was tonight. It is simply incredible to watch and listen just how good he really is. So, the contract is officially signed, and their match at the Royal Rumble is officially set. And my God, is it going to be a damn good match. Up next, we have Jacob Fatu defeating and demolishing Braun Strowman. And while the match itself was okay, it was more or less a squash match for Jacob Fatu. This was a statement from WWE showing that Jacob Fatu is a megastar. This was Jacob Fatu breaking away from the bloodline. It really did feel like that was the vibe that we were getting. And especially when some of the bloodline members came out and tried to stop Jacob Fatu, and he just was not listening. He wasn't having anything to do with it. But this match, for what it was, made Jacob Fatu into a legitimate threat and a bona fide megastar. For someone who is supposed to be a heel, he was getting Fatu chants from the crowd in San Antonio. We obviously knew how good Jacob Fatu was and could be, and I think we're starting to see it all come together now. I think it was absolutely the right decision to have him enter the Bloodline, be a part of that story, make the Bloodline 2.0 a legitimate threat in the meantime, but now it feels like he is officially ready to go on his own and just cause havoc throughout the WWE. And I think having it against someone like a Braun Strowman, I think helps so much to legitimize Jacob Fatu even further. Because WWE has done a fantastic job at building Braun Strowman into the monster of all monsters. And seeing how good Braun Strowman did against Bronson Reed, I think we were kind of expecting something along those lines, but the fact that WWE was willing to give Jacob Fatu the opportunity to basically squash Braun Strowman, I think just speaks to how highly they see Jacob Fatu being. Finally, the last match of the night was Gunther defeating Jey Uso and retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. And this match was a fantastic match. With the amount of close finishes that we got and the moves that we got, Jey Uso hitting spear after spear, feeling like Jey Uso was going to do it for Gunther to ultimately come out on top once again. And similar to the Braun Breaker and Sheamus match, they did a fantastic job at making it feel like Jey Uso was going to do it. Again, they pulled on everyone's heartstrings and ultimately ripped it away last second. And I do like the fact that they made Gunther hit Jey Uso twice with Gunther's finish, because that really did help Jey Uso. Showing that a guy like Gunther had to use two of his finishers to put away Jey Uso, I think that really is going to go a long way for Jey Uso in the long run. And I still do think that 2025 is going to be a monster year for Jey Uso. It's just a matter of when. And that when could start at the Royal Rumble, which Jey Uso has already declared for which again I think kind of hurt the end of this match. Similar to what I talked about with Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax was already in the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Jey Uso was also already declared for this year's Royal Rumble, and it would not make much sense to have Jey Uso defeat Gunther, win the World Heavyweight Championship, and then go on to the Royal Rumble, because again, that just defeats the entire purpose of the Royal Rumble. So I think the writing was on the wall with this one once again, but it would not surprise me at all if we see Jey Uso possibly win the Royal Rumble and go after Gunther again. I don't think that that is out of the realm of possibility at all, and I do think that that is very much on the table in terms of what we could see from this year's Royal Rumble and from Jey Uso himself. So that is officially my recap from Saturday night's main event. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about the show, because I know a lot of people did not like the fact that nothing really big happened, nothing really changed from the first episode, and we really got the same thing with this episode. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think of Saturday night's main event now that we are 2 episodes in, and what would you like to see change with the show as we go forward into 2025? Let me know all that stuff down below in the comments, and while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel, and I do suggest going and checking out the X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, sometimes Friday Night SmackDown, and sometimes the PLEs. Fridays and Saturdays are just really busy for me, and I don't get a chance to watch Friday Night SmackDown and some of the PLEs. For instance, I was not available for Friday Night SmackDown this week, and I was not able to watch Saturday night's main event live. But I will always be available for Monday Night Raw. And my main goal for the X page is to have a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. Because let's not kid ourselves, watching wrestling on your own is great, but it's even better when you're watching it with a group of people who have the same love for WWE and pro wrestling. So if you are like me and you're looking for a place to talk about pro wrestling and WWE, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, join in on the conversations, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. So, with all that being said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, because both are free and both help out the channel a lot. And if you have made it to this point of the video, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. And as always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.